Who's going to be first to the floor here?
First to the floor podcast. Shout out to Australia.
Jordan Crawford, nice move with the dribble.
Here's driving on Stoudemire, the jumper, yes!
Oh, what a diving save by the
Yeah! Boston wins!
Tatum drives down and throws it down!
You guys are talking about a thing. Here's where it is, right here. That's the
Time
best.
for the tie.
The best team in the world right now. Marcus Smart at the buzzer.
Shireman in the deck.
Welcome in, First to the Floor podcast. Ben Vallis here, along with Wayne Spooney and Jake Eisenberg. We've got some off-season deep cuts for you today. We're going to be talking about the blueprint for the off-season preparation, I guess, what each Celtic, one or three things that they can do to improve heading into this upcoming season. Spooney, Jake, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Steph Curry, going to be a Celtic, right? My wife texted me just out of nowhere, Steph Curry, Celtics? And I was like, did I just miss something? What is happening? But no, it was just the fucking John Corrales report from like 2 days ago. Yeah.
Well done. But like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's make some fake rumors.
Yeah,
know?
dude.
Like the Golden State situation is bad enough where it at least plants the seed in Steph's head. Because if your wife's texting you about it,
Yes.
then I bet you his wife is at least texting him about it. And then today, Jayson Tatum's playing golf with Steph Curry, and they're at least like, hey, it's pretty funny how that thing came out of nowhere and it's not real, right? Right?
Yeah, Tatum's like, right, buddy?
Right. It'd be pretty good to imagine, like, you know.
Can you imagine a house on Nantucket, Steph? Like, shit.
Little Tatum pick and roll ISO, you space in the court. Like, I'm a pretty good off-ball player myself. He's like, yeah, man, that would be pretty good.
Yeah, he thought
You wanna
Steph
be the
Draymond
ninth
was
seed?
good. Wait for Steph Tatum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steph
You want to be the 9th
Beanie.
seed, the 10th seed again? Or you want to come kick the shit out of LeBron one more time?
Hell yeah.
Seems unlikely, however.
I'd say so.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, look, I think we've got a lot to get into in this instance. We wanted to talk about what each Celtics player should focus on this offseason. What's maybe one or two things they can work on to improve. Because as much as we have our green tinted glasses on, we think they're perfect. There are some flaws that we probably should discuss. Spooney, Jake, do you want to kick us off with player number one? I think we should start with Tatum, like start top down in this one.
Well, I kind of wanted to just like zoom out as far as like what I was looking for from a developmental perspective and the ideological path the Celtics are going down, which we've identified as being this possession maxing philosophy. And then how does each of these players' current skill sets fit into that? And then how can they better fit into that and maximize that identity? Because I think I've mentioned before, like the last two champions, the Knicks were first in total possessions in 2025 or 2026, and the Thunder were first in total possessions the previous year when they won the championship. There's other ways to win than just that. Like the Celtics were 11th in total possessions in when the year they won the title, and the previous year the Nuggets were 19th. And I think in the Celtics examples and the Nuggets examples, like Nuggets all-time great player, like just blew through the NBA, and that can look at like a couple of different things. And the Celtics just had an overwhelming talent advantage and like top end depth, defense, 3-point shooting. So it can look a couple of different ways, but in this new era where like depth is becoming so important and the CBA is like limiting how much star talent can be on each roster, depth, possession maxing seems to maybe be like this little microcosm of where we are at in the NBA. So that's how I kind of looked at it. And if we want to start with Tatum, we can start there. He's a little bit different for me. Like when I think about development and what I need from him in the upcoming season is like, just keep doing calf raises. Just keep doing rehab. Like every day and every week that he stacks a healthy week is another week that he inches closer back to being the Iron Man version of himself that we saw before the Achilles injury. And we're going to need him to carry a pretty big load next season, we're going to want him to play the Jaylen Brown role from last season. I don't think the way that Jayson plays requires him to be the battering ram to lead the league in drives in the same way that Jaylen did. He has a propensity to get off the ball quickly, create quick advantages. He's a much better off-ball player than Jaylen in the way that he moves off ball, in the way that he screens, and the way that he can shoot off the catch. But for me, number one with a bullet is just working on his body and continuing to rehab to put himself in the best possible place to play 70 games next season.
Yeah, man, totally agree. I think that's like a home run one is get healthy. Flip side, like sort of an addition to that to me. You're right. He does at times get off the ball quickly. He always makes the right read. But sometimes he can grind the offense down a little bit and get into the ISO game and fall in love with that some. So, I mean, like the big thing for me is that he is going to be the bellwether of the offense in a way that he's not been in his entire career. Like he's always been the number one guy. He's always had the ball the most. But he's always had to share it with a dude who sometimes had higher usage than Tatum did. There will be nobody close to Tatum's usage, or at least time of possession, bar maybe Pritchard this season. So I just want to see further development of the playmaking. I want 7 assists Tatum this year. Get on the ball, get off it, get into some off-ball actions, and then, primary play make when you need to, and just be the guy who sets the tone that the Celtics offense shares the ball, and it starts with him sharing it. And like, he's such an incredible passer. You could make an argument his passing is the best part about his offensive game. And so I just want to see him leverage that even more often than he already does.
Yeah, his stats all took, and this is like completely understandable, but took they didn't really climb back to pre-injury levels at all in his return last year. Like his turnover rate was up, his true shooting was down, defensive rebounding down, rim defense down. So like get healthy, absolutely like return yourself back to prior greatness. Definitely the priority there. I think like I just want to see whether or not the foundations of like the Mazzulla driven Tatum-led offense remain with Jaylen out, which is essentially, can Tatum still draw a double on the majority of possessions and then just like get defenses into rotation as a result of that, or a team's going to change up the way that they defend Jayson Tatum, that is going to switch everything and force him to go ISO. Like, what's that going to look like sans Jaylen Brown? I think I'm curious about, but like you said, Spoonie is more than capable of making the right play and reading like multiple different kinds of defenses. So it really is just about getting healthy, staying healthy, and then orchestrating the rest of the team, which maybe segues us into what everyone else needs to do better, Jake.
Yeah, the passing, it is just that ability to be 6'9" and blend it with the strength, the athleticism, and the vision. Like that creation ability with the passing vision makes him so dangerous and generating those assists so easily. Like he doesn't, like you go back and watch, I watched a ton of his assists from when he came back, and so many of them are like very simple, just like create one little bit of an advantage, find an open guy and open shot, or just gets the drive and kick game going. And while the volume scoring didn't come back, the assists, like in that Philly series, he was 23, 11 boards, and 7 assists, like in those 36 minutes. So we've been trending that direction playmaking wise. Like I know people want to see the 30 points per game Tatum. I think it's very possible we do get that, but I don't think we need it. Like it's all about getting the offensive moving and finding the open guy, and then trusting whether it's Pritchard, Derek, whoever. Go ahead, Ben.
I got to ask, we've already talked about it in the Discord. I've been shut down. I think there's going to be people listening who are thinking this though. So I'm just going to like put it out there for those people that a lot of people would say the one thing that Tatum should hopefully need to improve in order like to be like the guy, especially now when like post Jay's era, is 3-point shooting efficiency, or just like shooting efficiency in general, but particularly from beyond the arc. I think, and you guys kind of led me down to this realization again the other day. It's like we kind of know who he is at this point, and we know that it's not just going to like come from nowhere where it's like suddenly shooting 40% from 3. But I don't know, like what's your reaction to that? How do you explain that to people who are sort of sitting at home, kind of like myself, hoping for that?
I mean, it's just not going to happen. His shot selection, his shot selection has to be bad. right? He has to absorb, and it will especially be possessions next year where he doesn't have Jaylen to kind of bail out some of these possessions that go nowhere. He has to shoot a ton of pull-up threes. Like, it is foundational to punishing pick and roll defense. He needs to make teams not play drop against him. And that means pull up threes. And he's just not going to shoot 40% on pull up threes. Like, it's just not going to happen. But the second teams don't play drop, it's over, because then you have to trap, hedge, or switch, and he just kills all of those defensive coverages. So, like, if he could go back to his rookie year role, he would shoot 40% from three. Yes. But we don't want him to go back to that role. We need him to not be that guy.
Yeah. So the way that the 3-point percentage goes up is, can we use him more off the ball? And obviously Jaylen's gone, so in theory, like, Tatum's going to absorb higher usage. I do think it's possible, though, that with Jaylen being gone and Pritchard and Derek actually being the one that absorbs the usage, because I don't see Tatum absorbing a 36% usage rate. That's not the way that he plays. But if the usage then shifts to Pritchard, Derek, and maybe someone else that we're going to get into, those guys are better at finding the open guy. Paul George is better at finding the open guy than Jaylen Brown. If Tatum's able to, like, trade one pull-up three for one catch-and-shoot three, or like 1.5 for 1.5, that is going to be enough to push his 3-point percentage up into the 37-38% range. Because every year of his career, he's been a 39 to 41% catch-and-shoot guy. So that number has remained very steady. 3-point overall percentage has continued to drop a little bit as he's had to, not necessarily had to, because I think we can all agree there's a couple in there that are bad, but that is true of all of the superstars. Luka, you name it, they're taking bad shots. So it is part of the superstar job to take some of those shots. But if you can just shift it a tiny bit, one pull-up three for one catch-and-shoot three, that's probably enough to push into that 37% range. And his overall efficiency that we love to just open up Basketball Reference and look at, that would probably, just like you're looking at a shiny PSA 10 Charizard, if he can get into that 37% range while averaging 7 assists and those 9 rebounds, that's going to create a really beautiful, lovely stat line. And then one other thing, just hit ahead passes and playing like a tiny bit faster.
Yeah.
I think this roster's built for that. And I think he's very coachable. So trade one bad shot for one good shot and just play a little bit faster. Those would be the approach things that I'd like to see from Tatum.
I will say, we've been saying that about Tatum's game, those two things about Tatum's game for a while now. He is very coachable for the most part, but there are just some, like, I'm Jayson Tatum and I'm going to do Jayson Tatum stuff about his game. And it's the pull-ups, exactly what you say, Jake. Like, we've needed him to just play a little bit faster and trade a pull-up or two for a catch-and-shoot jumper or two for a few years now, and he's just not done it. But to your point, I think this team will pass and move the ball around more often because Jaylen, like, great player, bit of a black hole at times. Like, there's no denying that.
Yeah, like you can look at the seconds per touch numbers on the Celtics. Like, I'll even go back to the 2024 season when they won the title, and like Tatum, 3.63 seconds per touch. Jaylen, 4.34. Tatum has always been like really quick as far as those high level creators go, getting off the ball. But the other thing, do we know that they want him to play faster?
No,
because Tatum was out all of last year and they were still dead last in pace. So I don't think we act like, I do think that ties into the turnover suppression. By playing slow, by playing a little bit less aggressive pace wise, you are keeping your turnovers down. Can they just change the sliders a little bit to like play a little bit faster while still maintaining their elite limiting of turnovers?
Still efficiency mogging, as I've heard some people throw around.
Efficiency mogging, that's right. Possession mogging. Should we get to prize picks before we move to a new guy?
Absolutely. Great call. Take it away, Jake.
Well, you know what time it is. It's Prize Picks time. And look, we know we got the MLB and the Red Sox. Whew. It's time for my annual jump on the bandwagon for the Sox. 100+ games into the season. They're like, what, 22-2 in their last however many games. They just swept the Dodgers. Like, it's time to sprinkle a little Prize Picks on the Sox. And maybe that's how I end up jinxing this magical run that the team is on right now. But it is a scorching sports summer, and you can make all your picks on Prize Pick, WNBA, baseball heating up, tennis slams.
Have we lost
picks,
Jake?
Then Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app. Have we lost Jake?
Jake's back. Keep it going.
We're good. We heard you,
Jake's back?
Jake. It came back through. You're
okay.
fine. Keep going.
Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app.
Yep, download the app. Use that code CLNS. Get $50 when you play $5. Sounds pretty good to me. Spoonie, have you got any picks prepared for us?
I do. We've gone to the Shakira Austin well before, has not worked, but we're going right back. More 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists tomorrow night versus Dallas. And then Tajon Salon has a sister, Janelle Salon, in the WNBA. More 19 points, rebounds, assists tonight, 10 p.m. versus Toronto.
Nice.
That
Sounds
is $20 to
solid.
win 60. Sorry, there we go. Yeah,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Pretty good if you ask me.
Yeah, look, Prize Picks, very, very fun way to just enhance your sports viewing experience. Just, up the stakes a little bit with whatever you're enjoying there sports-wise. So shout out to Prize Picks and shout out to the CLNS, I should say, Media Network for presenting this show, which you can find on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, obviously, subscribe, all that good stuff. Do we want to get on to Derek White, guys? He feels like the logical next step, unless you want to pivot to Paul George.
There's a few different ways to go, obviously, but yeah, I'm happy to go Derek White. They're connected. It's twofold. Obviously, just he needs to shoot better.
Yes.
That's as simple as that. But that, I think, comes down to his mentality and his confidence.
Yep.
And he's too good of a player to be able to succumb to the confidence draining effect of a shooting slump. Like going back to Tatum, the dude's never too scared to take another jump shot. You know when Derek White is in his head about taking the next shot. I don't know if this is a mushroom trip, if this is some type of maybe canceling the podcast. It's one of those two things. If the mushroom trip doesn't work, if the sports psychologist at this point hasn't been able to be like, hey, you're really good. You're going to miss shots. Remain confident. Believe in the work. Knock those shots down. If that doesn't work, it's time to cancel the podcast. Because every time he went on the JJ Redick podcast, shooting slump. What happens when he starts his podcast? Worst shooting season of his life. Worst shooting playoffs of his life. I have nothing else. There's no other explanation for a dude that, as a Celtic, has been an elite, high-volume shooter. A dude that was like in the same category as Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the 23 to 25 playoffs as a shooter as far as volume and accuracy goes. Just needs to be confident. Knock him down.
Yeah, I will add, I think the confidence not only displays with his ability to make open threes, its volume of shots in and around the rim. He only averaged 1.7 shots at less than 5 feet last year. That's nothing for a dude who had the ball as much as Derek White did. And I think you see that the lack of confidence also expresses itself in his lack of confidence getting to the rim, getting all the way to the rim, and attempting shots when he gets there. I don't give a shit if you get blocked sometimes, Derek. Like, put the ball up, get it up there, especially with the way this team's going to offensive rebound. If you crack the paint and help comes over, just throw that shit at the rim, because Nemi and Mitchell Robinson are going to be there, and they will have, the helper, the big guy, will not be there because he helped over to you. So I want to see his volume Less than 5 feet was 1.7 per game last. That needs to be closer to 3 or 4. And then 5 to 9 feet was 1.6. He shot terribly on those shots. That's like the short floater range, which is Derek's zone. That's where he does a lot of work too around the rim. So I just want to see the volume of the shots within 10 feet go up. And even if they miss, I just think that'll be positive for the offense overall. And that starts with him feeling confident.
Yeah. As an extension of that, his free throw rate sits at the 31st percentile. He barely gets to the line. So it kind of like caps his efficiency ceiling as well, if he's not like banging down a few like high percentage free throws each game. So I'd like to see him a bit more aggressive. I wouldn't say that he's a particularly crafty drawer of fouls or like a seller of contact, but feels like, I don't know. I don't want to hyperanalyze the guy, or it's hard to say like, Derek White, you're doing this wrong, because like he's been so good outside of some shooting efficiency issues for like years now. But like that is a great way to generate offense, and it's also a typical way that players heading into their veteran years kind of evolve their game and enhance their game when some other aspects of it slow down as well. So I'd kind of like to see a little bit about that if I'm being too nitpicky.
No, I don't think it's nitpicky at all, and he's crafty enough to, I think, implement some Jimmy Butler into his game. Jimmy Butler doesn't get 2 feet in the paint by like his first step. Granted, he like can be explosive. It's all craft, positioning. Derek White's good at getting 2 feet in the paint. Get in there, pump fake, draw contact. I think that he has that potential in there. And he's a very crafty finisher around the rim. Like last season, he shot 71.3% at the rim. That was good for 80th percentile. And his floater range has always kind of come and go a little bit, but we like the short mid-range stuff from Derek White. But get into that zone. Hit him with the wonky everything that he does. And I think that that could be something that improves his efficiency and just gives him a higher floor if he does start to miss shots from the outside.
Yeah, and I think it opens up his playmaking game. If teams view him as more of a threat when he gets 2 feet in the paint, then more help's going to come. And he's obviously an excellent passer. So but it all starts with him feeling confident and feeling like I belonged as the second best player on a great team. And it's crazy to say, but he still kind of has that issue. So yeah, for me, it's like starts with the confidence, and then all the other stuff we're talking about, I think, comes with it.
Maybe do shrooms on the podcast and
Yeah.
bring the psychologist as well. Combine all three. Take shrooms on your podcast. Bring a shrink to interview you. Dive into some of these issues. Tear a hole in the Derek White universal fabric and solve the issues that way.
Foolproof.
Zach Lowe just brought it up, but he needs the Dirk Australian Outback trip.
Yeah. I'll pick him up at the airport. We'll
Yeah,
drive
perfect.
out to the Outback.
Yeah, you guys go hang out.
He
I'll be
has
there
his
too.
shamans. Yeah, he has his shamans ready for him at a moment's notice.
Cue the picture.
Yes, there we go. I thought we were going to do the other one.
Welcome,
That, but
Derek.
holding a Derek White sign at the airport. Perfect.
Welcome, Derek.
Peyton Pritchard.
Let's do Pritchard because mine dovetail perfectly what we just talked about.
Go ahead.
Of players who attempted 13 or more field goal attempts per game last year, Peyton Pritchard is last in free throw attempts per game. He gets to the paint a lot. He's very accurate for the most part when he gets to the paint. He's very strong and he's crafty. He should be averaging way more than 1.7 free throw attempts per game, which is comically low for a dude who has the ball as much as he has. Like, there's no reason he can't get that up to like 3, and he's 89% from the line. So I just need to see Pritchard. If you are going to truly be like a second option with Derek White, those free throws got to come up.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I had overall aggression for Pritchard. And you look at the Jalen versus Pritchard stats as far as what it looked like with Jalen and Pritchard sharing the court, and then Pritchard on the court without Jalen. Like with Jalen, he was 17, 5 and 4, 57% true shooting, 1.6 free throw attempts, to your point, Spoonie. And then without Jalen, obviously you should skyrockets considering how much Jalen was absorbing last season, but 27 points per game, 8 assists, this per 75 possessions, 5 rebounds, 61% true shooting, and 2.9 free throw attempts. It just basically speaks to when Jaylen was off the court, he has the ability to, I don't know, be a number one guy and play it like a dude that can average 27 and 8. He needs to play like that and have that green light 24/7. But yeah, I'm with you. Get similar thing, getting downhill, getting to the paint, those pump fakes. It is tricky balance, though, right? Because so many of those buckets that he got, like at the rim, he's like quick shooting, big guys. He's getting into their bodies and he's getting it up on the backboard quickly. But yeah, I mean, he needs to be watching Brunson tape. I think it's a little bit absurd that I keep seeing like the Celtics believe or the Celtics need Pritchard take a Jalen Brunson type leap. Maybe a Jalen Brunson light type leap is fair, because I think, I don't know, if he turns into Jalen Brunson, then yeah, we're in a pretty good spot going forward.
I'd say.
Another All NBA guy on the roster would be nice, but so I think it's in there, and we saw really positive steps from him as an isolation player, one of the leaders in the NBA in isolation points per possession, and then in that same category as aggression goes is being aggressive with his passing, and that's also a delicate line to walk as well, because he was one of the most elite turnover suppressors in the NBA, but he was also low when it comes to rim assists per 100. 1.4 rim assists per 100 possessions, 54th percentile, but then he was a 96th percentile turnover rate guy. But it's like, how many of those times does Cater roll to the rim? And if there's a clear window there. I think part of that is size, whereas Tatum is able to just like look over the defense and throw those passes. I think the other part of it is just philosophy, identity, and coaching. We don't want you to risk some of those passes because we're focusing on just getting shots up. If the pass isn't there, keep your dribble alive, find an action, and we'll get a shot up a different way. But can we, again, just find a bit more of an aggressive balance where he is hitting Robinson, he is hitting Cater on some of these lobs because he's getting into the paint? Can we just generate a few more shots at the rim for either himself or for the big men?
Yeah, bring himself into alignment or more into alignment with the team philosophy, basically. I would love to see that. I think getting back to the ISO stuff, like, yeah, he's one of the few guys on the team who can actually, like, quote unquote, go and get his. And this is the year, right? If next year we're actually going to, like, reinvest in the roster and bring in more talent and make advantage of us being out of that repeat attacks sort of pocket, then this is the year, right? Where theoretically there's going to be less possessions, less touches next year. Be aggressive. Like, put yourself in those ISO positions. Like, we know what you can do. You know what you can do. Everyone in the fucking league knows what you can do. So just, like, do it as aggressively as possible, because, like, that might not be the same landscape for you to do such a thing in a year's time. So, yeah, great call. Paul George. Sorry, go ahead, Spoonie.
No. I was going to say the passing thing's spot on. He's way too safe with his passing. He needs to average more turnovers, which is crazy to say, but I truly believe, like, it's indicative of, like, how comically safe he is with his passing. But this is a great point, Jake.
Yeah. It's like there's plenty of wiggle room, I think, in the turnover rate. Like, it's obviously awesome to be upper 95th, 98th percentile, but you can still be 85th plus. But if you're able to generate a little bit more of those rim assists, those paint touches, maybe it's worth the trade-off. I guess we're going to see. But yeah, we go Paul George. I'm kind of itching to get to Cater though, because I don't know how much development there is for Paul George to do.
I was going to say, I mean, is Paul George just like do steroids, get 25 game ban, and then come back healthy for the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
the
like,
words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Do drugs.
And tell me where to get them.
Yes.
Part of this.
Good shit, please.
I need
Cater.
some of that. Yeah, Cater. Yeah, Paul George, stay healthy. The hope for Celtics fans should be this is one of the first off seasons that Paul George has gone into healthy, and not just gone into healthy, but gone into looking the best he's looked since leaving the Clippers, which, again, get out of Philly, get out of that cursed situation and come into the Celtics world where everything has been going mostly perfect except for the past kind of 18 months, which we're going to ignore. Neemias Cater, it almost felt unfair to ask Cater, Hugo, Gaza, Baylor, these types of guys to get better when they all exceeded my expectations by so much last season. But I think that of course they're all going to be locked in the gym working on getting better. All of them have said as much if we've heard from these guys at the end of the season and in the off season so far. For me, like before I had a look at the numbers, it was like, can we continue to work on the touch? But then the most obvious one came to mind. It's the fouling and the foul rate. And it wasn't statistically that terrible. Like regular season, 13.1% foul rate, 67th percentile. In the playoffs, that jumped up to 15%, which was actually lower percentile wise. That's because everybody in the NBA was fouling in the playoffs a lot. But again, small sample in a series. We know exactly how badly those fouls hurt the Celtics, and your foul rate can be skewed because you're off the court now and not playing when you're in foul trouble. If he's able to stay on the court in that Sixers series, it very likely goes different because we saw what he was able to do in Game 7 when he was staying on the court. He has become a monster on the glass. He has become a monster protecting the rim. And the gap between what he was able to provide you and Luka Garza was able to provide you was such a chasm. And the foul rate stuff, maybe he's less important now that you've got Mitchell Robinson. Because if he's still able to play 20 minutes, now Mitchell Robinson's able to come in, whereas Luka Garza was your backup, who, great regular season, tough. But foul rate is by far and away, I think, coming out of last season, the thing that I pointed to is like, fix this, stay on the court.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in the playoffs. And I'm not sure that can be fixed until we get to the playoffs and see what it looks like. I just think like he probably will be fine in the regular season again. And then look, Embiid was just like the worst possible matchup for him too. Taylor
he did that before before Embiid came back as well.
That's true.
That's true. Was really
Fallon, Adem, Bona. Like what
are we doing on like offensive rebound, inbound? Shit, it's terrible.
Yeah. I'm with Taylor on in the chat. Short roll passing. Tatum is back. That means traps, high traps against the pick and roll are back. Kata is going to need to be able to take one dribble and make the correct read. He's shown some flashes of it. He's done it here and there. I think teams are really going to dare him to beat us, to beat them with Kata being that first outlet pass when Tatum gets trapped and doubled and hedged. And so I think he can do it, but I just think the sample size is so low right now. Look, that's a pretty easy read if you're willing to take a dribble, pick up the ball, and get all the way to the rim. If you're not, teams will just not send hard help, and then there's not really a pass for you. So he needs to be aggressive on the short roll, prove to teams he's willing to take that dribble, get all the way to the rim, and then when the help comes, make the right pass. And I think he's got it in him, and he's not Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson is just sort of a more dynamic, athletic finisher who I think can always get to the rim. I'm not sure Kata can, so he's going to need to pass.
Yeah, and Tatum's kind of the only guy on the roster who can throw that short roll pass like over the initial defensive coverage to the big as well. I can't tell if Jake's sitting really still. Oh no, he blinked. Okay, I thought we'd lost you, Jake. So yeah, and we saw like ways where Tatum was like unlocking the bigs, particularly Neemias Queta in that sort of small sample size when he returned, but we didn't see a lot of short roll stuff. But it goes back to what you were saying earlier, Jake, with Pritchard, like what can you do to bring yourself into alignment with like the Mazzulla Ball philosophy? And like we've seen shot roll style offense with Tatum and a big like for years now. And I think Queta, like you said, as far as the bigs on the roster is the best candidate to facilitate that. The other thing, and Z Gamer had this in the chat, is he like a dark horse candidate for not necessarily like, I'm not saying he's going to be like this, a reliable 3-point shooter.
Yeah. Then what's the point?
I think it's a good question because last year was great in proving that Mazzulla Ball could still work without like a stretch big. But Portuguese, FIBA, Queta showed flashes. At what point do you begin to explore that? As I say that out loud, I'm thinking like if we didn't explore it, if anything, we nullified it with Luke Cornett. Why would we go in the opposite direction with Neemias Queta? But one can hope. One can do. I'm not expecting him to develop like a face-up game or anything. Just like occasionally late shot clock if you're out beyond the arc for whatever reason. I don't know why he would be, but can you jack up a three? Wouldn't hate seeing it. Maybe in the preseason, then we just shut it down if we don't see any dividends paid. Anyway,
that was the most
Queta.
Ben Vallis kind of little soliloquy. He's like starts out.
Always.
Like we watched him shooting, and then me and Sweetie didn't even say anything, and Ben started freaking. Oh yeah, it's like no, we can't do it. Get out of here. So he took, how many threes did he take last season? He took 8. Let's make it 20. Give me 20 threes.
There we go. I was going to say
25
16,
threes. I'm fine with him working on it. But I think for a big man to be someone that actually manipulates defense and changes the way defenses are guarding you as a shooter, there's like 2 guys. It's like Cat and Porzingis. Even
Turner.
Horford, is he bending defenses?
I think so, man. On the pick and pop, him and Hallie, like
I don't know.
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But even so, he's like 40% on like 5-6 per game.
Yeah.
And he's bending them a little bit. It's like
Right.
Horford, man, there was plenty of times where guys were like, teams were just like, is he gonna shoot? And we saw Horford actually punish that defense plenty of times and knock down 5, 6, 7 threes. But it's like Towns and Porzingis, dudes that will take 10 plus threes and can knock them down and can shoot from range. Other than that, teams are like, I don't know, I'm not guarding Vooch. And what are the chances that Cater ever becomes as good of a 3-point shooter as Vooch was? And no one even considered guarding Vooch from out there. So yes, keep working on it. I would like to see him keep getting better, like at his touch. And he really improved on that as the season went along. He actually shot 75% at the rim last season, which what I love about him, if he gets the chance to, he just goes up and tries to dunk on people because he's huge and he's athletic and he how many Space Jam, like just like long arm reach, but like some of the pump fakes, little reverse, like the touch really improved. So 75% at the rim. Rob Williams 78%, Chet 77, Jared Allen 77. Wemby, 75, so tied with Cater. Mobley, 74. Bam, 68. Towns, 62. So he was a really competent finisher around the rim last season in a way that he wasn't previously. But can we now get a little hook shot? Can we just get a little body bump? Little Kareem jump hook? So, to quote Bill Simmons, everyone's got a jump hook. Just get a little baby hook, both shoulders, little Kevin McHale. Like, that's the area that I think in that short roll position, if he starts to figure out the passing, can he now fake a pass to the corner, take a dribble, and either dunk or just a little 6 foot, 7 foot tight shot? Because those are really high value shots. I think he was 50% in the short mid range, which was 71st percentile. Like, Vooch is really good in that range, 53%. Which is an 81st percentile. So I think touch for him, can we create some better looks, more consistent looks at the rim? Because this team, not their strength at the rim. Tatum's going to be able to find him more consistently. Can you convert him?
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. Keep making free throws too. It's my favorite thing about Keita is his player archetype generally does not shoot the ball from the line very well. He's been above 70% his entire time he's been in Boston. So if you combine him taking a higher volume, he's going to get fouled more, and I trust him to make his free throws. And all of a sudden, that's an even bigger weapon than he already is.
And do we use that to just blast through Mitchell Robinson really quickly?
Yeah.
One thing to improve heading into the next season, just like slightly better free throw shooting. I don't know if that's Celtics player development stuff. Like someone please help this guy, right? Like
shoot him underhand.
Yeah, do what you need to do. Do a hook shot from the free throw line. I occasionally do that. Works all right. Do something. I don't know. Is anything serious that you think you should add to his game? Other hand? Ben Simmons style?
Shoot underhand. Like, at least try.
Underhand.
Any hand. Other hand, underhand.
Kick it.
Joe Mazzulla does seem like the type of coach to challenge his soul deep enough to be like, why are you still shooting overhand? Like, you can't make him. Try underhand.
He's the other mushrooms candidate, I think, right? Just go to like a rural court somewhere with a little dose and just start taking him and shooting him. See what happens. Can't get any worse.
With the shaman, of course. That's an important part of this advice.
Yeah, Mitch is a big MAGA guy, right? He's a big rural guy. Like, I'll hit him up. He can come up to West Virginia. We'll hit a court.
Nice.
Mitch, the big pub. I think.
Yes.
Trey's calling him the big pub, big publican. Why not, man? But him and Paul George and Tatum It's just rehab, stay healthy. That's the development for all these guys.
Jordan Walsh, I think, can we just get off the ball more quickly? A lot of the same sort of stuff that we said about Jayson Tatum is like Jordan Walsh, his decision making just needs to be, I think, crisper, and he's getting right to the point in his career trajectory. Like, I know he's still quite young, but he's been in the league for this will be his 4th year. I think that sort of decision making, that crispness, that Spursian 0.5 second sort of basketball is where he's going to be most effective offensively. Defensively, I think, fantastic. There's a few issues like getting caught up on screens and just overall screen navigation and the defensive maturity aspects that he needs to look into. But offensively, I just think he needs to, speed up his decision making. He's been fairly efficient shooting the 3 from the corners. So just like pick your spots, get off the ball quickly, pass and move, that kind of thing. I know it's not overly specific, but it's just like little improvements around the edges, I think, for Jordan Walsh.
Shoot it more. I just want to see him have a quicker trigger. And that is part of quicker decision making, is he hesitated, especially after he had that like great stretch where he started and he got moved back to the bench. After that, he seemed really, really hesitant. And his shooting, I think, my recollection, his shooting percentage dropped. Does that happen? You just got to be confident, man. Let it fire. And look, your shooting percentage will probably be worse this year. That's okay. A big part, like, he needs to be able to shoot at least corner threes on high volume and make them 35+%. And we're never going to find out if he can do that if he's hesitant to take them when he's in the game. So fire away. He's shown a little bit off the bounce, driving closeouts. So if the more willing you are to take threes, the more you're going to get closed out on. And then that simplifies the game for you, makes those decisions easier.
Yep, 38.4% last season. Career now 73% free throw shooter. The shooting is good enough where I want you just being aggressive. And the quick trigger applies to either the shot or a drive. Whatever one you do, either shoot it, pump and go. Because we really believe in his decision making and feel because he's got a great first step and he has those long arms and long legs. He seems to be able to get around guys really easily, and then getting into the paint, like we saw at Summer League a lot, and we saw it last season as well. 2 feet in the paint, either go up strong, he gets fouled a little bit, pump fake, draw a foul, or 2 feet in the paint, find someone. Because now the defense has at least moved a tiny bit. I don't care what you do, whatever you do, don't stop the record. Don't record scratch in the corner or at the top of the wing. You can't have any of these role players being hesitant. There's too many of them. Baylor, never going to be hesitant. Ron Harper Jr., Baylor number 1, definitely not going to be hesitant. Hugo, honestly, never seen a shot he doesn't like, to be fair. Some tough ones. Like that is death, because that's what leads to a turnover and most likely a worse shot. And when we're trying to inject a bit more pace into the overall team, the role players have to feed to that.
Yeah, sorry, we lost you for a second again there, Jake. Yeah, Walsh, he does struggle a little bit when presented with that like second challenge, or like he'll beat his defender, then the help will come over as he approaches the rim and he's like, oh shit, what do I do now? And like, I think if he can just get his head around how to navigate that secondary challenge, which is easier said than done, obviously, but that would be huge for his development and production overall. Who do you want to go next to, Spoonie?
Baylor.
Scheiman? Baylor? Okay.
I think Hauser's pretty boring. Like, I just don't see a path for Hauser to really. Let's do Hauser quick, actually. That makes sense.
Shoot 45% from 3.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I guess drive a few more closeouts, maybe bulk up a little bit so you're a little sturdier against 4s. I mean, but other than that, like, Hauser feels like more than anyone outside of the real old guys on this team that he just kind of is what he is, and it's a super valuable player. But I'm just not sure where we go with Sam.
Yeah, I didn't even write him down. I was just like, just be the same. Be the same. Make like 10 more threes than you made last year, and you're back above 40% again. Like,
when you put the ball on the
high
floor,
volume,
be Carmelo Anthony, essentially.
Yeah, of course, obviously. Yeah,
more Samelo. More Samelo, obviously. Yeah, it is
only
funny when
Samelo.
when you look at some of like the like accuracy stats on cleaning the glass, Sam is quite high in short, mid-range, and you look at how many it is. It's like 7 attempts.
Yeah.
Shoot more, I guess, is the answer to that one until you start missing. Hugo González. I think actually this is a conversation for 3 guys to me. Hugo, Baylor, Ron. What would really, really help this team short term and long term is who can develop into like a reliable, consistent secondary creator. A dude that can run a little bit of secondary offense or even some initiation themselves. I think Baylor, Hugo, and Ron Harper Jr. are the 3 guys that I see as having the capability for it. And so for that reason, I want all 3 of those guys doing the Peyton Pritchard garage drills every day. If I don't hear the story about your hands bleeding, then you didn't work hard enough in the off season on your handle. Because especially at the size of all 3 of them, we saw it from Hugo in summer league. If you can be 6'6", 6'7", and have the vision to see over guys, and the strength to get into dudes and get downhill, the handle is so important. That's what really unlocked Tatum's game. Is he's like one of the best handlers for a dude of his size in the NBA and in history. It just creates so many matchup problems. So handle and creation for those 3 guys, because if one of those guys can pop in that category, we are wheels up.
Yeah, I think Baylor is so left-hand dominant that a lot of the floor would open up if he gets stronger with the right hand. And I know he's older, but there's still plenty of lefties are always so lefty dominant. It's crazy. I think if he can open up the right side of the court more for himself, he's a little more confident going to the right and making plays out of that. I think that would be huge for him. If I had to bet next season who we trust to run more pick and rolls out of these 3, I think it would be Baylor. But long term, Ugo's like 5 years younger than Braun and Baylor. So I kind of hope we give Hugo a real shot at running some offense with the second unit at times this year. But yeah, you nailed it. I just think like the shot's either going to happen or it's not for Hugo. But Ron, I'm confident in his shooting. I'm confident in Baylor's shooting. It's really about the guy who separates themselves from essentially like Jordan Walsh, right? Like he's just a ready-made 3-and-D wing. We need somebody who's not just a 3-and-D wing, and these 3 guys are the guys who have the opportunity to do it. Yeah, man, like, I don't know. Part of me feels like, is it just going to be Ron Harper Jr.? Like, he's so powerful and like slippery with the ball already that feels like if he just has more time in the system, it's just going to happen for him. So maybe I'm just like picturing him as his brother because they look so much alike and they're the exact same size basically. But yeah, man, one of these guys pops as like a true secondary creator. I think it changes the complexion of the team in a massive, massive way.
Yeah, Ron Harper Jr. is like the one of those 3, Baylor, Hugo, and Harper Jr. that I almost wouldn't make any adjustments to, other than just like more time, more sample size, more time to become familiar with being a Celtic. But like as far as his skill set relative to his role and his place in the rotation, pretty happy to have someone like Ron Harper Jr. at that fucking position. Like that's awesome. And that's like he's clearly shown flashes of potential to elevate himself above the level that he's at currently. Joe clearly believes, given the lineup for Game 7, but I don't know, maybe we'll never talk about that again. With Hugo, like, I hate to be the guy who's just like, everyone should just shoot better from 3. Of all the people though, like of all the people that we're going to apply that lens to, Hugo, like the foundation of his jump shot, the form, the whole thing from toes to fingertips looks pretty good to me. And the ball doesn't go through the basket, unfortunately. And it just feels like there's very little tweaking and adjustment to do there to make that actually happen and come to fruition. So I really hope that he is just like shooting 5,000 threes a day and his hands are bleeding because of that repetition and not because of dribbling. Obviously, the dribbling is going to be huge as well. But I really feel like Hugo, because defensively he's just so sound as well. If he can just be an offensive outlet by banging corner threes, that's just going to be such a massive add to the team. And Baylor, turnover avoidance, because we're going to be asking a little bit more of him from a playmaking perspective because we're a little short on playmakers in this roster. He showed flashes as well. Great movement, 3-point shooter, but like not necessarily this great like static catch and shoot guy. So it's a little adjustments to make around the edges for Baylor as well. If I had to choose between one of those three guys, I would funnel all of this into Baylor. I just feel like he's kind of the most promising package at this point. I'm going to do what I usually do and like backpedal halfway through and just like, oh, Hugo also looked pretty spicy.
Yeah,
But,
whoa.
Where Baylor is at right now, and he had a lot of us asking like, where's Baylor during the playoffs as well. Like, I just think he has a more well-rounded package at this stage. Hugo's ceiling might be higher, but yeah, I would love to see a lot of that sort of funneled into Baylor's game.
Yeah, Hugo, Baylor earned it last season. Like, even after Tatum came back, he was playing 24 minutes a game, shooting 45% from three, and Joe Mazzulla said, that's enough, buddy. Too good. Too much of our identity in you, man, and got rid of him for some reason. Ceiling-wise, it's Hugo. Like, Hugo's 5 years younger than Baylor.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's
crazy how
Baylor's
much
closer
younger
to Tatum's age than he is to Hugo's age, and it's like by a couple years. Yeah.
Comfortably. So Hugo, I'm with you though, Ben. Like, again, the numbers ended up being okay 3-point wise, but he was like 50% from the free throw line. That's the number for me, because the free throw rate that we saw in Summer League, because another part of this for both Baylor and Hugo is physicality and development of their body. And Hugo still being 20 and being as big and strong as he is, and he looked like even stronger at Summer League. I want him to continue to be on the Avengers program that Jalen and Jayson have been on for their career. But Baylor, dude.
So
I don't know where he got
younger.
But Baylor looks like a different guy. If you're watching on YouTube now, he posted an Instagram on his Instagram, fucking LJ, and is looking svelte. And even last season had taken a big step forward from his body perspective. That's huge for him. More athletic. The defensive stuff that we saw from Baylor last season, the ability to navigate screens and be the dude that we put on, like the best perimeter defender on different nights. Again, Joe Mazzulla having trouble slowing down point of attack guys. Maybe it would have been good to try this guy from the beginning of the series. But Baylor and Hugo physical wise, because Hugo, again, still 20, to be able, like, there's so much room to grow literally into his body, because he was already guarding guys like Cat and some of the other dudes. Like, if he's able to continue to get stronger at that age, like, that again changes what you can do defensive versatility wise.
Yeah, Hugo has like a chance to be like PJ Tucker. I mean, seriously, like him being that strong and big at his age. Tucker was a complete freak, but sort of like my original comp, like the high upside was always OG Anunoby for him. And it's the same thing. Like OG was just an absolute ox when he was at Indiana. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they approach the minutes for this kind of spot, because, there's an argument to be said that like this is kind of a lost season as well, with Tatum coming back, Paul George on the roster. We're kind of waiting for the next move to make. And it's like, do you just say, look, Baylor's going to get his minutes, but Hugo, we're giving you more responsibility than we would expect because we don't have championship aspirations this year. And we just want to get you reps. So I suspect that will not be the case. And I suspect you guys are right. And Ben, you're right that it's going to be a lot more Baylor. And again, to your point, Jake, he totally earned it. He was awesome in the second half of the season. But man, Hugo is just so tantalizing with what he could be like, that he has real star upside, and there's just not a lot of dudes you get at the 27th pick, but we got two of them.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting conversation. I think maybe we can dive into how we divvy up the minutes, but like last season, Baylor played 1,400 and Hugo played nearly 1,100 minutes, because I want to see Hugo closer to 1,500. I'd like to see him closer to 2,000, but it's like, where do these minutes come from? If I want to see Ron Harper Jr. also get 1,000 minutes, and you look at it, okay, well, the big place to get minutes from now is Jaylen Brown is evacuating 2,400 minutes, but you're replacing Jayson Tatum into the team, and so it's like, where do they come from? I think Sam Hauser playing nearly 2,000. I think Sam deserves a place in the rotation, but can you bring him down to 1,500 minutes? Derek White, does he need to play 77 games and lead the team at 2,600 minutes? He doesn't, dude. He should be at 70 games maximum, and he should be playing 30 minutes a night, not 35 minutes a night. I'm with you, Spoonie. I think lost season can be misconstrued to be like we're punting on the season and this season doesn't matter. Like, I still think this team can win a playoff series, could end up in the conference finals, but winning the championship, that to me is probably a step too far unless things really break right for them. So it's like, it's about the title coming in 2 seasons and 3 seasons. You need to prioritize the development. And I thought Joe did a much better job at that last season than we thought he would. We were like, there's no way Hugo's getting to 1,000 minutes. There's no way Baylor's going to get to 1,500 minutes. So hopefully that is encouraging. And they're like, we can still win by funneling more and more minutes towards these guys. And then we get a fresher Jayson, a fresher Derek, a fresher Pritchard.
Yeah, the most important part of all of this is, I'm going to include Walsh here. All 4 of these guys are good. And that's fucking crazy that all 4 of them, like, you know, who knows what they top out as, but they are legitimate rotation players in the NBA somewhere. And the fact that all 4 of them essentially have shown that, it's just crazy, dude. Like, it's awesome to have this problem. You're muted, Ben.
Sorry. I think we'll look back in 10 years' time and think, oh, remember that time that we reset the luxury tax? We let Tatum heal for 2 years from his Achilles recovery, and we developed the shit out of like 4 really young, promising players, all in the pursuit of getting back to like championship contention. At the moment, it might feel a little dry because they're quote unquote lost seasons, or however you want to frame it. But like, it's going to, I think, in hindsight, look like this really intentional developmental stretch for the Celtics. At least that's how it seems to be playing out. So it's a bounty of riches really at the end of the bench as far as we're concerned. The other thing on the minutes for these guys is we have to take into account the Paul George steroid company offsite, which lasts, I don't know, of course, 30 games, of course.
For sure. But he's going to miss a ton of time, and Mitch is going to miss a ton of time, like if you get 50 games out of each of those guys. But you're adding them to this team, if that makes sense. Like those, even their 50 games from those guys are 50 games and minutes that we didn't have from them last season. We haven't even mentioned Chris Senak. It's fucking hard to find minutes for all 14, 15 guys. Mike Conley, like, still good, was good in the NBA playoffs for the Timberwolves last season. Like, I don't know how much he's expecting to play, but it is a good problem to have when you're like, I want all 14 players on this roster to get minutes. Mm-hmm. But even talk about Luka Garza again. I don't really know how he's supposed to get better at defense somehow. I don't know how he's supposed to do that. But like, he was a beast on the offensive glass, shot a shitload of threes when he was out there, and shot 43% from 3. What else is he supposed to do?
Defensive glass. He was horrible. Okay. We rebounded defensively horrible, and that's something I think he can actually work on. Get on a body, attack the ball in the defensive glass a little bit better.
Yeah, and like, just be a regular season workhorse. And that doesn't just mean on the court during games, but like practice, like pushing guys hard. Like, there's ways to contribute to the team off the actual NBA floor as well. And that's where I see a big impact for Mike Conley, in lieu of sort of like the adult in the room, which is probably not the right term to use, but like Al Horford goes, and there's probably a little gap there as far as the balance chemistry wise. So I think Mike Conley slots in really well. They're also, from all accounts, is like really, really highly respected across the league. So a great ad in that sense, probably a star in his role. I don't know. I think we've sort of covered everybody. Everyone's got a little bit to improve on, obviously, but very exciting going into this year as far as the developmental aspects, and like Tatum being ideally healthy with matching calf sizes and all of that. Yeah. Anything else to add? Anything we missed before we wrap this one up?
I think we got it all. Dylan Mitchell, what the fuck's going on with that? Amari.
I don't know. I think we could skip out on Amari, other than like, hey, just play better in everything you do well, right? I mean, right? That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's Right.
It's a good question from Taylor. Like, who would you rather get? How many minutes did he play last season? Luka Garza played 1,100.
Luka Garza. Give me not
rude.
I mean, no, look, hey, he seems like a great guy. Whatever. We really appreciate your contributions last year. Play Chris Senak over him. Are you kidding me?
Minutes.
Yeah, those should all be Senak's minutes, in my opinion.
I think if we can, but that's not going to happen, especially early. I think maybe in the second half of the season. But if we can get to 600 Senak minutes, if I asked you, would you sign up for that? Would you?
I would. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would too. But yeah, Dylan Mitchell going back to St. John's story. I understand that it's not even 100% guarantee we keep his draft rights. What a disaster that would kind of be if you lost his draft rights at pick 40.
How does that work?
I don't know.
I thought it was because didn't Larry Bird went back to college after we drafted him or something like that?
The NCAA is fucked now.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it was the CBA change, so you couldn't own the draft rights of college guys. But they did like a special exception for James Najee, I think, where whoever the hell drafted him kept his draft rights. So I would be shocked if we lose his draft rights if he goes back.
If we don't lose the draft rights, it's not a disaster. But if he goes back, it's still not optimal. Him spending a year with St. John's versus Celtics development means that they're going to be just working as like St. John's and Patino should be just trying to win games as St. John's and trying to develop that way. The Celtics have a very different day-to-day system and routine for Dylan Mitchell if he comes to the Celtics. It would definitely nerf his development to a degree, but yeah, that's just annoying.
Yeah, one to keep an eye on for sure. That is annoying. Because I was looking forward to some main games, but obviously he wasn't, I guess.
I guess you can make
before we wrap up.
fucking bank.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, for sure. First of the Floor live show. Details still on hold basically until the NBA schedule comes out. We've all the ducks are in a row. We've got multiple venues scoped out, ready to put the plan in place, get tickets on sale, do all the publication, all that kind of thing. We're just waiting on the NBA schedule. So if you want to sort of keep close to that situation, follow us on social media, join the Patreon, get into the Discord, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all of that, because I don't want to say it's going to be a bombardment of information once this goes live, but essentially we're going to be moving quickly to get everything organized once the schedule comes out. So keep an eye out for that. I think we'll leave it there. This has been fun. Spoonie, Jake, love your work, guys. Until next time, go Celts.